podcast. I am your host, Cosmic Waters. May my words inspire you and remind you to remain true to you as you walk authentically in your truth, dripping self-love and unapologetically choosing you. Hello, naked truthers. Welcome back. On tonight's episode, we're going to be diving into a topic that I feel really needs to be exposed. The light needs to be shown on it, and the generational cycle needs to be fucking broken. It really needs to be discussed, and I'm so excited to dive into this because I have 3 beautiful guest speakers to break this down with me. All this divine energy, I'm here for the shits. So 2 of the guest speakers you are already familiar with, which is Royal and SenSay. But I want to introduce you to someone you haven't had the pleasure of listening to just yet. And he goes by WaveGod. So I'm going to allow him to introduce himself first, and then I will welcome in SenSay and Royal. So WaveGod, welcome to Taste My Naked Truth. How are you? You may introduce yourself to my listeners.
First off, let me say thank you for having me. You know, it's the WaveGod number one. I'm grateful and godly every day. You know, I'm a multi-dimensional leader. I'm a cosmic sexuality advisor. You know, and yeah, I'm just grateful to be here with my brother Kings and my brother Gods. You know, we here in the building. So thank you. Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. Okay, so now I want to welcome back SenSay. So SenSay was my very first guest speaker, and we did an episode called Fuck Them People, which you should go listen to if you haven't already. So SenSay, welcome back to Taste My Naked Truth. How are you? SenSay? I'm gonna just blame this on Mercury retrograde tonight, y'all. SenSay, are you there? Holy shit. The bloopers. I can't hear him. I don't know.
I can't hear him either.
SenSay? Paging SenSay. Going once. Going twice. 3 times? No? Okay. That's weird. All right. Well, while SenSay gets himself together, we are going to shift over and wait.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. I'm back. Yes, man. You know, it's Mercury retrograde, y'all. So, you know, it's
right. We were just saying that.
Yeah, we're gonna be dealing with little technical issues. It's all right, but we're gonna push through. We're gonna persevere. I'm happy to be back on Taste My Naked Truths. You understand me? With Cosmic, how are you, beloved? Peace to my brothers Royal and Big Wave. You understand me? Gratitude is a rock, man. So I'm just happy to be here. I'm looking forward to the conversation. I know the first episode that we did was fuck them people, and you know it's gonna always be fuck them people. So we're gonna talk about a lot of that. We're gonna get into some fuck them people. I know with this conversation, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, definitely. I'm leaving all these bloopers in here. Fuck it, y'all just gonna get it as it is. Okay, so the final guest speaker of the night is Royal. You may be familiar with him from the episode him and I did together called Stop Hiding Behind the Scenes. It's time to set yourself free and express the real you. And if you haven't listened to this episode, please go check it out. So welcome back to Taste My Naked Truth, Royal. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm high vibrational. Thank you, Goddess, first and foremost, for having all. Hopefully, y'all can hear me. What's up?
Yes, we are good.
Talk to me now. I got okay. Nah, but they call me Royal. That is an affirmation. I am a worthiness coach, and my message is very simple: express yourself, which we're doing right now. So I'm just always happy and vibrant to express myself in dynamic ways. And so I'm happy to be back here on Taste My Naked Truths, and I'm ready and set for this build. Thank you so much.
Yes. All right. So we made it through the intros. Okay. So let's dive in. So this episode was inspired by a meme that I saw, which I'm going to read to y'all, as well as the original post I made with it, which will pretty much shed light on my perspective of the situation. And then we will dive into the perspective of each of the guest speakers. So the meme says, my teenage nephew told me he asked a girl out and she turned him down. I said, you know what to do now, right? He said, I know, keep trying. And I said, no, leave her alone. She gave you the answer. He was shocked. No one had told him that before. Teach your boys. So, seeing this, it made me think about how the narrative of playing hard to get is taught, playing games is glorified. Even the man being the hunter and woman being the prey is something that seems to be passed on. So, here is my initial response upon first seeing this meme. It goes a little something like this. Please don't create stalkers or boys that turn into men that don't understand what the fuck no means or I'm not interested, etc. Teach them to respect boundaries. Teach them to love themselves to where they don't feel they have to chase behind someone, force someone to want them, love them, or even be interested in them. Teach them to know their worth and that no is not a bad thing. Rejection can be protection. And even though their feelings may be hurt, it does not mean to lash out or project it onto the girl. She does not become the enemy because she said no, and she has every right to tell him no. Teach him that it's okay if she turns them down. It doesn't make them any less of a person. It doesn't determine or define their worth. They're still dope as fuck. Teach them that they deserve reciprocity. They deserve to be loved naturally, genuinely, freely, and that they don't have to fight or struggle for love or chase after it. Teach them to love themselves first, and teach your daughters too. And I mentioned teach your daughters too because this is not just a one-sided issue. The narrative of playing hard to get is taught, and these girls grow up to be women who do just that, play hard to get. And the boys grow up to become men who are aware of this and take it as a challenge. And then it becomes one big mind fuck of a game. That's so unnecessary. Because then the lines begin to become blurred. She says she isn't interested when in fact she is, yet she wants the satisfaction of being chased. So he continues the pursuit and receives the satisfaction when he gets her. However, there are times when that woman who really just don't want anything to do with you makes it clear as day, and you see it as her playing hard to get instead of just accepting the no. And this is what I mean by blurred lines. And if we take it a little bit deeper, there's a woman who feels like a man didn't chase her or put in enough effort to attempt to make her shift her answer instead of just being straightforward from the jump. As I said, one big mindfuck of a game. Women that know what they want will not play games in the first place. Either she's interested or she's not. She wants to speak with you or she doesn't. She knows if she wants to give you her number or not. And she knows if she wants to exchange sexual energy with you or not. And men that know their worth won't put up with this shit. They're not going to waste their time chasing behind a woman, let alone a woman that says she wasn't interested. They'll respect that and keep it moving. No love lost. I feel like The world has accepted playing hard to get or playing games, period, instead of just being direct. People want the satisfaction of being chased and securing the trophy. Attraction and interest can be shown without having to play games. So, I know I just gave y'all a mouthful, which I'm sure y'all were able to digest. Now, I'm curious to see if this is something y'all were taught growing up to continue pursuing a woman if she either told you she wasn't interested or simply acted like she wasn't. Did you see her no as playing hard to get and as an invitation to continue the pursuit? Did it then become a game, so to speak? And then did you begin to see her as a challenge? Something like a trophy for you to win and put up on a shelf. So, WaveGod, we're going to start this off with you. What are your thoughts, your perspective, your experience? The floor is yours.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that's a very interesting topic. I'm gonna start with something I saw too. This was just like yesterday on Instagram. It was a guy in traffic. He was like on a motorcycle, and he was looking in his rearview mirror, and he saw a lady behind him, and he was like recording the whole thing. He was like, "Oh, she's beautiful," And he hopped off the bike and he walked up to the car. He was like, "Hey, you're beautiful. Can I have your number?" And she was like, "No," but she was like blushing, covering up her face, and then she was like, "Hey, do you want to get married?" Like in a joking way. And then he was like, "Yeah, like, you want to get married?" She was like, "Yeah, you want to have babies?" Like, and then it was like a fast forward, like fairy tale Instagram where like, this couple was together, and it was some interesting comments. Like, some guys in there like, "Hey, I tried this, and like, now I'm in jail," or "I tried this and now I got a stalker case," and all this other stuff. So I think, you said it right. This is something that the world is taught, but I kind of grew up in Detroit. I grew up a different type of way. My mama, she taught me something different. The girls, they choose, let them choose, and so that's how I always seen it, let them choose. But I've been on both sides, growing up and being in the world. Sometimes, we got one foot in, we got one foot out. So I've been the guy like, man, maybe I should try harder, at a younger age. Let me keep trying. It's a challenge. Women like to challenge you. They like to put you through the test. Some people call it the shit test. They like to put you through the test. But then also I've been the other guy on the other side, like, man, fuck this, I ain't, so it's like a dual perspective. But as I've matured and became of age, I look at it just the exact same way that you said it. A woman is gonna know exactly what she wants. So I really feel like at this point in my life, I really don't have time to chase after a woman who is playing the come here, go away, come here, go. If you want me to come here or go away, I don't really have time to go spinning in circles. So yeah, that's a very interesting perspective that you brought in. It's something that we should teach not only to the men but to women, because if the women didn't play those games, I think, and it's not to point the finger, but I think the men wouldn't either if we knew for sure, like, man, she's not playing when she said no. But 9 times out of 10, the guy, he really doesn't know in his mind if she really is saying no, or is she testing him out. Does he have to try harder? And so it does create a more serious problem. It can create a situation where men don't really know the meaning of no, or not just men, women, alike, because it's all different types of dynamics, in today's society. But just people in general, should know, that no is no. But with this situation where we're playing these games, it really creates a lot of confusion instead of clarity. And so for me, what I plan on teaching my son is, is knowing yourself, loving yourself exactly the same way that you said it. If she says no, that's okay, move on. It's billions of women in the world. So after so many no's, you're gonna get to a yes, but you don't have to do it with that one woman. And that's something that I didn't learn at a young age. Like, if this is the woman that I want, I have to try to figure out how to get her to say yes. But as I've grown and I matured, I hit a certain point to where it was like, No, it's millions, it's billions of women in the world. So I don't have to be stuck on this one woman. And so I think that's something that we should teach the youth at a much younger age. Move on. It's plenty of women, and they gonna choose who they want. And if they playing games, then that's usually an indicator that they don't really know themselves. And so then the relationship probably won't last anyway. You probably won't be able to grow together with that person because they really just want to have fun. They don't really want to grow in this relationship. They just want to play games. And I since a young age I was kind of over the game playing. I never really was into playing games. So I know I said a lot, but essentially it's you shouldn't have to chase after anybody. More so the goal for me at least is to align. I don't want to chase. I just want to align with the with the woman that's for me. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yes, no, that's a fact. I really do. I agree with that. Fuck chasing, like we aligning out here in these streets, okay? Um, and I love that, you brought up how both sides need to be taught, because that's what I was saying in my perspective as well. Like, it's not just about the boys, but it's about the girls too, because those boys grow to men, and those, women, those girls grow into women. And so I definitely feel like it needs to be both sides of the spectrum need to be taught this. And it's something that you said, like if she was playing games and she really don't know herself, right? I agree with that, because not only does she not know herself, but I feel like if you're teaching a young boy or a teenager or however old he is to chase after somebody, or to keep going after a woman that's giving him mixed signals, or to keep pursuing something or someone that's telling him, hey, I'm not really interested, or that's playing them games, you're basically teaching him to settle for some bullshit. And
Right.
so now that is how he's going to conduct the rest of his life, his relationship. So you're setting him up for failure, right? He's settling for breadcrumbs when he can go and meet another woman that's going to be direct with him and be like, yes, let's do this. I'm feeling you. I want you, this, that, and the third. And there's no games needing to be played, right?
Right.
So what you said was definitely beautiful. And yeah, I definitely agree. So we are going to tap into a royal at this moment. And, I just want your thoughts, your perspective, and your experience growing up with us.
Yeah. So my perspective, thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of things that were said definitely resonated. I'll just speak into my experience, because other than that, it would be like an echo chamber, because I believe in many of the things that were just said. My perspective is very like dynamic, because I was 9 years old, going through like shelter system and all of that with my mom, right? 9 years old, and I had 4 sisters, right? I'm the oldest, and I had 2 who were like 3 years younger than me, 3 and like 5 years younger than me, and then I had 2 baby sisters who were a year apart, 14, 9 years younger than me, and maybe like 10 or 8 years younger than me. And my stepfather wasn't there. He was in quote unquote boot camp, which was told to me boot camp. And my mother would have to go to these appointments in order to keep her case open, her housing case open. So it was me with 2 baby girls and my older sisters. And so at 9 years old, I was already a father, right? So seeing it from this perspective had me already procure and see women not as something to chase or hunt. It wasn't an objective. It wasn't a mission. I grew up thinking that love wasn't for me. I just remember having this type of like window shopping perspective. I'm looking at it from my outside perspective, because I had a lot of worthiness conversations, being that even before, I got back with my mother when I was 7. I was in foster care from 2, 3 until I was 7. So I didn't have my mom, right? I found out I had a sister when she was 3 years old. And then, so to come from that, it just all culminated into this perspective of I wasn't worthy of women. So literally until maybe 17, 16, when I really started dating, I would have to say that in terms of like dating, I would just love up on women. I've always loved up on women. I've always been that brother, right? That brother to the women in my schools, right? Because I moved every year. So it was different dynamics, getting to know more and more women, but also keeping that respect, you know, at all times. I was never going to be, and that carried out into my later years when I knew, okay, like dating is a thing, and all right, cool. We put a while. I'm not a child no more, but I never made the first move. I'm gonna say that right now. I never was like, hey, you want to, I never went into a bar or a library or wherever you meet girls and told anything, no matter how beautiful, because I would see every, woman as like, damn, I would be that damn, I would be attracted. Yeah. But I would never like go up to them and be like, hey, you want to go out sometime or whatever. It was always a mutual understanding. She gave a look, I gave a look. She's laughing at my jokes, I'm laughing at hers. We're spending time, and it culminated, and through the time we spent together, it meshed and it aligned into something deeper. So that's how all my relationships started out growing up, until I found out, I got deeper into my worthiness, and women would attract to me, so I that it's a great testament. My testimony is that when I got into my spiritual journey and I started to love up on myself, relationships started to magnetize to me, and I didn't have to. I ain't never had to chase. I literally would visualize the goddess that I had a crush on, right? Even in high school. And by some way, shape, or form, I would do that so much that she would end up being mine anyways. Or I don't resonate with her being mine, but she would like bump into me in class. We would literally have that scene. Like I'll bump into her books would fall, and then we and I'm helping her pick them up, and it just aligned in such a beautiful way. But yeah, to everybody's point, to the king's point, like learning and teaching our sons to love themselves first. Like this ain't a race. We not running after nothing. We learning to magnetize, and that comes from learning to love myself, and thus increasing my magnetization, my vibration. Because you can absolutely tell. I know the goddesses feel it on that other spectrum when a man loves himself, and it'll align, like we've been speaking. It'll align together just perfectly. And for the goddesses, I've never really looked at that dynamic. It has been, the birds and the bees for so long, right? These traditional, societal norms where the man goes after, the woman. And now we're understanding, like, how about you just be a person and I just be a person, adjacent to you? How about you just be happy and I just be happy, adjacent to you? Like, no matter where I'm going, I just want to be myself. I'm going to just be myself. I'm not looking to perform for you or no, I'm just being me. I'm smiling for myself. I'm loving for myself. You know, I ain't greet you with no ulterior motive. And I would say that on both sides of the coin. For the goddesses and the gods, like, just be you. And the right person, that's how you market you know, who you are to who you want to be with. Because the person you want to be with is gonna align with who you truly are. And we can dive into authenticity, because that's the aspect that is lost upon us. People are playing hard to get over here, and others are playing, yeah, I'm a chaser and never give up. But have we ever like looked into like, I'm gonna just truly be me and see what happens from that, with no expectation? And with that, you know, I'm complete.
Okay. So your experience was a little bit different. Something that you mentioned that stood out to me was like the being a magnet, basically. And I agree with that, because I feel like when you are out here, you know, loving on yourself, doing the work, healing yourself, raising your vibration, all that good shit, right? You begin to attract different people to you anyway. Like, you don't have to chase. They just fucking show up. And I realized that when it came to like the men, right? So like, even if I was dealing with quote unquote assholes back in the day, right? As I began to shift, as my mindset began to shift, as my perspective changed, as I healed within me, as I became a different person, right? Then the men in my surroundings also began to change, and I began to meet like dope ass men. I was just like, wow, right? And you'll hear oftentimes women will be like, well, there's no good men in the world, or it's very rare, or like there's not an abundance of them, or shit like that, women say sometimes, right? And it's just like, nah, they exist, they're out there in the world, right? But it's like at the frequency or the vibration that you're SenSay, I'm struggling. My bad, y'all. But at the vibration, at the vibration. Holy fuck! This episode is wild. SenSay, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. My microphone keep dropping, right? And
I keep trying to.
Yeah, my microphone keep dropping, and every time I see it drop, I know I gotta go out and come back in so I can be heard.
I was over here trying to talk, but all I see is you playing hopscotch, and
it distracted you, huh?
I'm sorry. Oh my god. Okay, but what I was saying is that these type of men, like, they exist, right? The world is not full of fuckboys, basically, is in what I'm saying. Like, there are like good as men out here, right? And it's like women won't begin to experience them, so to speak, if they're still vibrating on that frequency that is basically running them into the fuckboys, right? And so that's what I was saying about me, is like when everything shifted, I began to meet these different kind of men. I was like, yo, y'all exist, holy fuck. And so it was like a different shift, and I've been here and I've been running into them, and it's beautiful to really experience. And I don't mean like experience on a sexual level or anything like that, just in general, to just converse, to just exchange that energy. Like, it is dope, which is why I have all y'all on this episode with me, right? Because one of the things that I want to do with my podcast is shine the light on the men that are doing the work, that are healed, that are showing up in the world, that are showing up authentic as fuck, that ain't on no bullshit. And so I appreciate y'all being here, because y'all are basically showing the world out here like, hey, yeah, we exist. Okay. So I love that. Now we are going to attempt to talk to SenSay. So SenSay, what is your perspective, your thought with the topic at hand?
Man, it's a beautiful topic. And you know, of course, Roy and WaveGod, you know, they gonna make it do what it do. You know, it made me reflect on a lot of things, because this, like, what basically even what you were talking about, even what you wrote, and even into the meme, and how all these things are a byproduct of how we've been taught to conquer and objectify women. So it's just this mentality. I used to live in that mentality, but I was a little subtle with mine. You know what I'm saying? I used to kind of objectify women to the point to where if I had you, I was gonna get you. Like if I said I was gonna get you, I was gonna get you. And it was to the point to where I would do whatever I wanted to do, like to make that happen. But it wasn't just about like fucking you. So it was still a sense of conquering and a sense of like possession or ownership. So it's just the way this society has kind of deemed a man to just be a man. And the way, for me, when I began to remove that programming, it took me deep because I started to realize how deep it went. And then I love how you touched on the women because we come from a woman. You know what I mean? So it's like after watching my mama get objectified, watching my mama get beat up, and watching her, not deal with my daddy, and then I got old, and she ended up having my little brother by another dude, and at this time I was 12 years old. So I'm like, man, nigga, you fucking on my mama. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm objectifying my mom at this point. You know what I mean? To the point to where I don't even want her dealing with no man. Like I'm your man. So it's like I'm start, when I start looking at that shit, it's like this how deep I went with it. Like, damn, my mom was raising me to be the man she never had, and she wasn't trying to. I just wanted to protect her. I just wanted to do something for her that I feel like a man or my daddy or what I'm saying, no other man was able to do. I want to get her the house and make sure she never worked again. I'm thinking this is what a man is supposed to do. So I'm looking at every woman in my life. And as I began to look back, because I used to deal with a lot of older women, then, other things started to kind of come up. And I remember a time when an older woman stuck her hand in my pants and said, yeah, you're going to be all right. And the women used to tell you, you're going to be a heartbreaker. And you know what I'm saying? Like, what's that? You don't want to break no hearts. You know what I'm saying? That don't even sound good. You know what I mean? But it's this whole aspect of what society, and not only society, but women will project on you. Like, and I start to see how women would look at you and start to think that you are a certain type of way. And then when they get to know you, they realize that you're not. And so that whole process, even what you said about not being able to accept and how those lines get blurred and how a lot of times we get caught up in the whole mental construct. How we didn't know any better about being mentally connected to somebody, and that made us want to have sex with them. You know what I mean? And then the girl is questioning this feeling, but it's something sexual with her, and she can't deny what her body's telling her. And then as a young man, we get hard and we think something's supposed to happen. You know what I mean? So it's like that whole thing, and it's like now we're in the house together, and we done talked on the phone and done all this stuff, and now here I am with you, and I'm trying to take your panties off, and you like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wait, why we here? So it's this whole aspect of intimacy and what that's supposed to mean, and how the lines get blurred based on what society has taught us, and how a young lady is like more shit. Young girls end up growing up for their time. You 12 years old, you already want a family. You know what I mean? You ain't know your body. You ain't not changed your pad good yet. You know what I mean? So it's like you already talking about how you got good of a mama you want to be. You don't like your mama. Like, it's this whole aspect of how they force us, they speed us up within our development. And it just become an over-exaggeration because we're not able to control those functions, then don't even bring it to the programming. And so, I'm big on the social engineering and how that plays out in people's everyday life, because now that lack of self-control, because like if you'll do it on a video game, it won't be long before you see the scenario in real life. So I watched a lot of this play out, hearing brothers talk about, man, you already know she wanted it, man. She called you late at night. She doing this and doing that. So how those lines get blurred, the way we want to connect, and, we think it's all about sex. And a lot of times the woman ain't with what she wants. And then sometimes she can be there during sex, but not present. Just because it's like what the man wanted to do. So a lot of times a woman's body will say no, right? But she'll say yes with her lips. and just to do it anyway, just to please the man. So it's such a it's such a dangerous game we play. You know what I mean? And it's all based off the way we don't know ourselves, just like what Royal and WaveGod was saying. Because how I'm gonna honor you as a woman and honor you as this vessel if all I seen was my mama get objectified and I seen her fight for men to love her, and then I watched my grandmother, not have sex with another man after my grandfather transitioned, and she lived a life in isolation. And so I got two different spectrums of what I think a woman is supposed to be. And looking at my mama, she going out all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like my grandmama just in the house chilling, ain't thinking about no man. So I'm like, this whole thing of what society has, kind of trained us into being, when it comes to our sexuality, and even the discipline or the lack of it when it comes to that. And it's just the lack of knowing ourselves. So it leads back to those things. And then people get into those situations, and before you know it, something that happened, and it's like now you sitting in the corner somewhere, figuring out what the hell I just did. Like, so it's a hell of a game we play, man. For real, for real. I'm in right there. Because I know we're going to get deeper with this.
That's a fact, though, because something that stood out to me that you said was how when it comes to sex and a woman's body can be saying no, but she say yes anyway just to please the man. I've been in those situations, right? And it kind of is like a brief internal war, because you're like, I don't really feel like right now, but it's just like that aspect of wanting to please him, right? And so it's funny because the woman body's still gonna say no, right? And so you can go on with the act, but that connection not gonna really be there. And this is what I tell women, like, your pussy, she speaks, okay? And when she don't want it, she don't want it. And so then it'll be like a struggle for her to get completely or fully aroused or wet, or it's just different when she's not fully into it, or she's just doing it to please you. It's not the same exchange or interaction, right? And so I used to just, be like, okay, cool, I'll just do it. But now where I am now, fuck that shit. If I don't want it, we're not doing nothing. Like, I don't force myself to feel like I have to give up any part of me or my body, because I know that I don't. Like, nobody is entitled to me or my pussy or my body. Nobody, right? And so it took me a while to get to that place and truly understand that, because I operated for a while out of people pleaser energy, right? And even to the fact to where when I didn't used to love myself, right, or even know what that meant, it was like no understanding of, it's cool if you tell this man no. If he get mad, he just get fucking mad. He gonna be all right? But it was more focused on, well, I don't want to be a disappointment. I don't want to let him down. Like, he going to be in his feelings. Like, I was focused on all that and not honoring what my body or my mind or my heart was truly telling me. So that definitely stood out to me there, because I've been in that situation before. So that is definitely important. And speaking of like playing hard to get, like, if I tell my experience, I have been that type of woman that's like, okay, so yeah, we're gonna play this game of being hard to get, right? And there's been times where I may have wanted to talk to a man and I didn't do it. Like, I didn't, like, go with the flow of it. I was just like, nah, I'm gonna see how much effort he put in. I'm gonna see what he do to prove himself to me. Like, a bunch of bullshit, like, you know what I mean? Just playing into that and seeing how bad he really wanted to talk to me. And then I'll be like, okay, cool, I might give him my phone number or something like that. But it's like I said, it's a game, right? And so now I'm like, fuck the games. Like, I just want to align. I just want to flow. I just want it to be open. Like, If we vibe, we vibe. If we don't, we don't. It's cool. No hard feelings. Ain't no expectations. I'm not asking you, so what are we? What is this? I don't need shit to be labeled right from the jump. I ain't trying to control who you fuck with. There's no possessiveness. I ain't obsessed over your ass. Like, it ain't none of that chaotic craziness that I used to, indulge in. Now it's just more of like exploring and getting to know the energy and honoring who I want to talk to and who I don't want to fuck with, right? And so even on like social media, right? Because I'll have men try, they'll try to shoot their shot or whatever in my inbox, and it's just interesting because everybody's approach is different. But some of these approaches be wild. That's a whole different story though, because some men really need to be taught how to even approach. Like, oh my god, okay, but if I say to like a man that try to shoot their shot in my inbox and I'm just like, nah, I'm not feeling it, I don't want to talk to you, I don't know, you can't have my number, whatever the case may be, and they keep trying, I just block them. I don't even give them my energy anymore because I got time. I told your ass no. I told you can't have invitation for you to try harder. That's gonna turn me off. And when I get turned off, it's not easy to turn me the fuck back on. So I just hit the block button. Like boop. There you go. And if that don't teach you a lesson, well, hey, you missed out because you wanted to keep trying after I told you no. Like that's disrespectful to me. Because you're not listening, right? And so that's another reason why I brought up this topic, because I've experienced this all throughout my fucking life. And even at the age of 31, there are still men out here that is doing this shit. And I'm just like, yo, this really needs to be spoken about. But I didn't want it to just come from the mouth of a goddess, right? I wanted the men to be on here too, like saying like, yeah, this needs to change, this needs to shift, right? Because I just wanted both sides of the spectrum on there. And it just hit different when, you can hear from another man or someone you may consider a brother, like, yeah, that's not cool, like some shit needs to change, right? Even starting with the youth. And so that was the reason why I brought y'all on here, to just like, yo, what are y'all experiences with this, and how do y'all feel, and how has like your mindset shifted from when you were at a younger age to now, right? So yeah, like this conversation, I just think it definitely needs to be had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, one thing too for me to add is, we don't really learn about relationships, growing up. It's no class or nothing like that. A lot of times we watching the movies, we watching the music videos, the TV and stuff like that. So for me, it wasn't until like my cosmic sexuality certification where I learned like, there's a way to pivot. I feel like that's one of the words too I wanted to introduce. A lot of these guys who decide to keep trying harder and harder, they just haven't learned to pivot. When a woman tells you no, that's okay. Go the other way. Like, go back within. And then if you really want to try harder, like Royal was saying, just be you even more. More, and then maybe you'll attract her, or even maybe she'll align with you because you're in your authenticity. But a lot of times men don't really realize, and I don't even want to limit this conversation to only men, because it's women who don't know how to take no for an answer too. But a lot
That's
of
true.
times people in general don't really realize how sad it is, how they going outside by just chasing after somebody who genuinely doesn't want them. And it's because, like I said, we don't have that class. We haven't been taught as children how to have relationships, and then more importantly, how to navigate when a person is genuinely no longer interested in you, or a person is not, even from the beginning, is not interested in you. Nobody, like our mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters, don't sit us down and say, hey, this is what you look for in a relationship, and when it's not going this way, this is when aside from the general, okay, find a rich husband, find a beautiful woman, but nobody sits us down and say, hey, you you really need to be with a person who knows themselves. You really need to be with a person who is open to grow with you, because if you're not growing together, then you're gonna grow apart. And then, they don't tell us, like, well, if y'all not growing together, then it ain't gonna work. It's y'all gonna focus on the differences, and eventually separate. And so, from the beginning, those are the signs. If she's playing the games, if he's playing the games, if there's no alignment. Because one thing I've learned by aligning with partners who, I would never have to worry about, leaving. It's not even a thought that crosses my mind. It's like I don't even feel no type of way if those conversations come up. One thing I've learned is people know what they want. People know. So you
Facts.
can feel that. A lot of people, they go against their intuition, but you can feel it when a person genuinely wants to be with you, or wants to, at least give it a shot, try it out. Like, you can feel it, and then when it's a mutual attraction, when it's a mutual appreciation, then then it's gonna be better than you could have ever expected or imagined. You won't even have to worry about, oh, this person is playing these games, or do I need to go and find somebody else. It'll just be a natural thing. So that's something for sure. I think that more younger age, how to pivot, women and men alike. Like, when this person is not for you, be transparent. And then when a person is transparent with you and tells you, hey, I don't want to move forward with you, then we need to know what to do. We need to know how to, like, unwind the relationship before it be. We need to learn how to, like, take that time apart to sit with ourselves and get comfortable with ourselves again, not losing ourselves. Like, and until we find ourselves, I think, a lot of people are still going to be going through those games because they don't really know what they want. And I think that's the cause behind, behind the playing around. When people are saying no, but they're really meaning yes, or people are not knowing how to take no for an answer, is because they haven't really found themselves. So, that's what needs to happen when the relationship is not aligning. People need to pivot and go back within. So I just wanted to add that piece in.
Yes, that was beautiful. I especially like when you touched on how, like, when the relationship is basically no longer just beneficial to either person, and it's time for y'all to pretty much separate, because people don't seem to believe in letting go. And so I think that was beautiful, and it is true, like, how to basically be taught about a relationship. It's not something that we learn. We just kind of figure it out, right? You just kind of just go with whatever, or you model what was modeled to you, or what you've seen at growing up, right? And so I think that is important. I think Royal had mentioned something about the birds and the bees, and when he said that, I was thinking, like, yo, I don't even think I've even had that conversation. Like, what the fuck is the birds and the bees? Like, I don't think anybody ever sat down and it's like, okay, so this is what we can talk about. Like, I don't even think that was ever a thing, and if it was, I don't remember it, honestly. So I definitely do feel like that is important. So a question that is popping up in my head that I feel like some of the listeners may be asking themselves is, how does a person find themselves? And anybody, or get to know themselves, anybody can answer that, because I feel like there's going to be somebody like, well, how do I do that? Somebody that may not be on our awareness level. So whoever want to take that can.
I'll jump in a little bit on that, because I was listening to WaveGod, and that was just really basically what he was conveying about where did that start. So it's the indoctrination. So for myself, I imagine, like, because I want another child, right? Because it's like, okay, well, what I know now, all right, being able to birth another being into this realm, knowing what I know, and what would I teach my child? Like, what would I show them? And I came to a realization I wouldn't show them anything. I wouldn't teach my child the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s, the nothing. Like, I would just let it grow up through its, and cultivate it from its natural intelligence. Because I asked myself, what would that look like for ourselves if we weren't like given all these projections of what it meant to be this or what it meant to be that. Now, I know it might be kind of far-fetched because we ain't living in that reality, but I'm going somewhere with this, right? Because it's like, if we think about it, we were just tapping into the natural intelligence and we weren't wrapped into what somebody else taught us, just like what you were just saying, Cosmic, about how we've been watching everybody else love and watching TV, reading books and cartoons and all this old stuff. And then what WaveGod was saying, like, we ain't never learned how to just say what we want because we started to suppress ourselves to impress other people, and having to be a different person. That's got all these personality, this persona, right? These masks that we start putting on, even at a young age. Then you go to school, somebody start talking about you. You don't have on some ugly shoes. Look at these shoes. You at school, you're a little boy. They talking about you. You going home like, Mama, we don't got no Jordans. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just comparison. So that living in that comparison, you know what I'm saying? So getting to know yourself is getting rid of the comparisons. Like, how are you constantly measuring yourself based off outside things, and how deep goes? That's when we call shadow work, all that type of shit, right? Because now you're going deep into what we call the subconscious, because now it's parts of you that start identifying with shit that wasn't really you a long time ago. From the moment somebody asks you what you want to be when you grow up, or from the moment as a little boy they told you sit down and shut up, you better stop crying, suck it up, you're a boy, you gonna be a man. And now you're a little boy, start wondering what it's like to be a man before you even was a little boy. You get what I'm saying? I dealt with little boys in elementary, first, second, and third grade. And when I came to the school, the first thing they was asking me was, well, we got a group of little boys, and they kind of like the troublemakers. We want to give you them first. That's how they want to do it, man. When you step into school, the whole stigma is off top. You like a strong man. You can handle these. You can handle these knuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what it come down to, like real shit. So it's like, but they didn't expect for me to start teaching these children meditation and all this shit, right? But I'm looking at these children in the first and second and third grade, and their main thing was, guess what? They want to know how to be a man.
Wow.
Y'all, this is like, these boys are 7, 8, 9 years old talking about, I want to know how to be a man, Mr. Jolly. It hurt my heart. You a boy. When you want to learn how to be a boy first, they tired of being little boys. Like, this is how deep the programming is. So when we're looking at that, that's why they think they can do grown folks things. And these little boys were telling girls in school to suck their dick and writing it on notes, and the little girls knew what they was talking about. Yeah, he put on that suck his thing. You get what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, they know this. Like, you get what I'm saying? They can't even read a full paragraph, but they know what suck my dick means. See, this is how deep the sexual programming is within us. Like, in the music, and we listen to our grown, like, this is what we watching people teach us about sexuality. So this is how deep this is. So when you're talking about getting to know yourself, you got to see how deep the programming goes. Especially a lot of it when it comes to your sexuality. Now, this is why a lot of people right now are even more physically conscious or body conscious, I would say. And this is why we get into a lot of the sex magic and things like this, because we've been suppressed and oppressed in so many different ways, in a lot of ways sexually, when you even go back to the rapes and all these different things. So it comes with us knowing ourselves. Like, it really becomes a deep dive, because all these memories are programmed within us on what it means to be who we are. And a lot of it has been on the play on our sexuality, and on how we interact, or our level of intimacy, I would say. So it's like, it's even a challenge for us to enjoy a level of intimacy like you spoke on, to where there's no touch involved, or just because I enjoy the presence of you. And now they got a label for it to where it's sapiosexual, and they still had to make it sexual some type of way, So it's like, it's still, they did. It's like, it's just real shit, And we walk around, we use terms like, hey, and then you just really realize that, and the only equation that you have for healing energy is that it feels like a sexual energy. So that's even another thing. Like, why can't it just be healing energy? It has to be sexual healing. So it's just to me, it's a lot of things that the lines have gotten blurred on our physical nature and our spiritual nature, or even saying that there's a difference between the two, because we are spiritual beings in our aspects. So it's like that means that we are here to enjoy, enjoy all the pleasures that life has to offer us. But when we're talking about the lack of discipline or the lack of awareness when it comes to that, just when we deal with those situations where people aren't able to self know and aren't even able to accept when a woman's body and say, you know what, if you don't want to do this, it's all right. And just like what WaveGod was saying, like, oh my God, like, how many times I've been like real shit. How many times I've been in a bedroom with a woman and I know she didn't want to have sex and I had to tell her it was all right for her to tell me no. Like, it's all right for you to tell me no. And she looking at me like, damn, so you don't want none? Like, I'm telling you it's cool for you to tell me no because I feel you not want to. You think it's because I want to do it. Like, you can't even look at me right now. Like, you done got naked. I done got naked. You done went in the bathroom, came out. I done went in the bathroom, came out, the lights off. And you just, you know what I'm saying? Just, so I'm like, is you shy or do you not want to do this? Like, and now I'm sitting up here in a state of confusion because I thought we both came here, like, damn, I gave you what you gave me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought we came here to do this thing. And now we here and, Man, I done been all out of town in Vegas and women, I done been on top of them and I done looked at them and been like, nah, you don't want to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that right there is a whole nother thing within itself because the woman has to receive. So as a man, certain men don't give a damn. They gonna go and get it off anyway. I'm grateful that I was never one of those brothers to where I wanted to bust a nut that bad. You know what I'm saying? But I know a lot of brothers that will shit 2-3 times in a day trying to go get something. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a compulsion, man. And I know brothers that, we driving down the street, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all know this shit wrong the way, guy. You go down the street, you got some homeboy, then they can't even, you see something on the bus stop, you like, man, why you stopping messing with that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, niggas can't even control themselves when it comes to these compulsions. So it's a lot of things when it gets to knowing the self and how deep they gotta go, because it goes back to your environment, your experiences. That's why it's no one way. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love the way the brothers just broke it down. I mean, especially the way God just talking about that. Because when you really get to know yourself, like there's no one way to do this shit. Because you are the only one that's been through what you've been through, seen the shit you've seen, and all that type of shit. So that's why the healing is an inside job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'd like to jump in if I could, on that aspect. What opened up from what King God SenSay was speaking into was, for me to get to know myself. I put up a discipline, right? And we could speak into like semen retention for the men, and just disciplining and being on top of yourself in that way. And I also hear from goddesses speaking into, mostly from the goddess Oracle Mama Sybil, who speak into stop fucking long enough to start healing for the goddesses.
Guess what I say, Raw?
What'd you say?
You can't be horn and healing.
There we go. There we go. So when we speak into these dynamics, right, the discipline, you learn a lot about yourself when you put yourself up against the wall, up against the challenge. I had set up having paid for like personal development sessions and journeys and experiences where they had asked me, all right, so you know what we're going to do after we had learned what we had learned about leadership, about ourselves, we going to put this into practice, and what I have experienced was, and this is how beautiful and simplistic the game of life can be. You say what you want, You declare what you want, and this is not hard. We all have desires, right? What do you want? What's the amount of money that you want to make a month? What kind of car you want to drive? Whatever it may be for you, just say it. Write it down. 3 goals in 3 different aspects of your life. And now let's actually make a plan and actually go after it. No matter how big the thing is, create a 3-month or 6-month, 9-month challenge to go get it. What happens when I went after it, everything that was in the gap of me having said thing started to pop up. My worthiness conversation, my judgmental internal saboteur, all of these things. I got to know myself on such a deep level, and then you put the spirituality into it. Wait, hold on. You telling me now I gotta practice meditation? I gotta practice gratitude every single day? These things that it seems so basic, so you don't think that it's important, but these are the most important things to get back to the basics, to get back to yourself. Because that's all really meditation is. It's like, for me, I'm listening to me. It's an amazing practice to literally in this moment right now, take a little deep breath. And notice what's going on in the body. Like, when you truly, fully understand that aspect, like just listening to the body, just feeling the breath go into the lungs, feeling the lungs expand, and through that, the circulation of your blood go through your vessels, and you get to start to notice very dynamic and fine-tuned things that are in the background of your reality that you ain't noticed in the first place. Like certain tones in a woman's voice that can tell you whether or not she into you or whatever was going on. Body tones, they say body communication is 70% from the body. They'll tell you if the feet are facing you, if she's starting to mimic you, mirror you, you go for the sip of your drink, she goes after it like 5 seconds after. If she's laughing at every joke, they say that if you're in a group, right, and something funny happens and everybody laughs, right, everybody's going to look at the person that they're more in tune with when they laugh. So all of these different things, you get to know yourself well enough by studying your body. It was a powerful realization when that same thing happened to me. I was conscious of it, and I was in a group and we were laughing, and I looked at a person and I'm like, whoa. I didn't expect for me to be attuned with that person. I didn't think it would work on me. That trick, I didn't think it would work on me. So it was very divine to like figure out all these different dynamics, and it came from disciplines. Because when I placed certain things in front of myself to go up against, like challenge myself, then whatever is in the gap of where I am to where I want to be in life, it just starts to show up. So knowing myself has been the greatest thing, and loving up on myself has been the greatest thing. Because again, I ain't never felt called to interrupt anybody's day to make it about me or can I have 5 minutes of your time? I just want to, can I holler at you? Can I holler at you? Can I holler? Can I get you? No. It was never something like that. It's like, hey, you seem cool, and I'm just vibrating on my frequency, and lo and behold, I'm just being me. And from this, I gotta let y'all know, whoever is listening and doing this chasing of, trying to pollinate flowers out here, had to tie it back to, I'm trying to, get back to the birds and the bees, but like whoever's going out there to do these things, like, it's so much sweeter on this side. You know why? Because I'm liberated. I'm also liberated from this conscious rhetoric of like having to chase, because that feels heavy. I only follow things within myself that feel light. Like if it's light, it's for me. Like if it flows, it's we going. Like I'm with that. So if you are aligned with my frequency, we had a conversation and it flows, then I just let things play out. I just let things play out, and I feel that, you know, it's a much simpler way to live, a much lighter way to live. But at the same time, you know, I'm not affecting anybody else. I'm just gravitating on my own frequency. That's how you become like the sun in your reality. Everything just revolves around you slowly, you know, and they harmonize around you. So become the sun in your reality. The world revolves around you. This is your reality. You could bend it to your will. You're the anomaly in this matrix. And once you do that, you know, relationships, all these different things, it won't even be that big of a deal. It's just something that will turn up because you love yourself. People are waiting to love up on you. So that's my message to whoever is going out trying to chase something that most likely when we chase it, it was never meant for us. Like if we have to chase it and it seems like it's running away, it's probably not for you, you know? So I'll finish with that.
That's a fact, because I feel like that's just like people who say, oh, they got to go chase the bag. Okay, like just the thought of that, like if you're running after the bag is running away from you. So like I don't understand like why people say that, because I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Anything, like you said, anything that you have to chase, like it's repelled by you. So why are you going after it? I do have one more question for y'all though. So
I just wanted to build real quick too on this. I'm gonna make it simple. I know because my brother guys, you know, they master builders, and you know, SenSay he went in on the meditation. You know, he was talking about how he wouldn't teach his baby nothing, just like Royal. You know, he went in on the breathing, and to me, I try to always get back to that. You know, because the children are our greatest teachers. You know, we talking about, you know, how to be a man and how to be a woman, but SenSay hit the nail on the head when he was telling the little boys, like, you gotta, before you be a man, you gotta be a boy, you know, and just not be for men and women alike, you know, even before we boys and girls, we gotta be a baby. We gotta get that down. A lot of people, you know, trying to master these advanced techniques, but you know, breathing and meditating is something that the babies do. I always say the babies is the closest thing to the God that we could ever know, you know. And so those two techniques, you know, is how you get to know yourself, which is what your question was. You know, for me, anybody listening, that's what I would teach. If you want to get knowledge of self, you know, start with meditating. You know, start with meditating and breathing and meditating like a baby, and before you know it, you won't even have that question of how you can get to know yourself, because you will get to know yourself through breathing and meditating. So I just wanted to make it simple, you know.
You know what? That's funny because I remember coming into your room, Wave, on Clubhouse, and something I will always remember is the baby Buddha breath. That just stuck with me.
Big old baby Buddha belly breath, you know.
Yeah.
Remember to
Stick
breathe.
your belly out.
Exactly. That's how you know you love yourself, when you love your belly and you love your nose. You know, you gotta stick your belly out. Remember to breathe.
Yeah, that's true. As far as like the breath and meditating, that's something that I have been being more focused on myself, because I can't front. It wasn't until I started like really coming into the different Clubhouse spaces that I'm like, all right, let me actually do better, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like one of the rooms that I would go in was Waves, and he would always be talking about like breathing and all that stuff, and gratitude too, right? So that's why I associate you with WaveGod, is like the breath and breathing, meditation and gratitude. Like when I think of you, that's what comes to mind, because those are the rooms that I would pop up in and I would see you, you know, talking about, and it just kind of stuck with me. But yeah, that's something that I would, make a conscious decision to do. Like, yo, you gotta tap in more to your breath, and it makes a huge difference. Like, it really fucking does. Like, just the level of calmness of recentering yourself that it creates is really beautiful, especially coming from someone that used to deal with anxiety all the time, and I didn't know how to calm myself down, right? Breathing wasn't something that I really was tapped into or tuned into or is even really taught about. And so I actually love that SenSay, goes into the schools and starts, at a young age and teaches them how to do this, because then they learn how to regulate themselves and they don't need somebody else to do it, or they don't need something to do it for them. They just can do it on their own, and I think that's beautiful.
Right. And even on the topic you was just touching on, which is, chasing the bag, always say, two of the biggest things we forget to think about throughout the day, as spiritual beings, is money, and as human beings is breathing, but they both tied in as one through the law of abundance, and so that breathing and that meditating just connects you of source energy. It connects you back to that abundance, to that self-appreciation. That's the most priceless thing we can have, is a breath of fresh air. Money can't buy it. So yeah, that's deep. And even that alone, just remembering to breathe and meditate, you won't really chase after things that's not for you, things that's not aligned with you. Men and women alike, we once we start breathing and meditating, you have a state of peace. You have that influence of peace that just overtakes you, to where it's like, I'm not about to play no games with nobody.
Right.
I know what's for me and I know what's not for me. So yeah, that those are two huge keys. It sounds almost too simple, but it really is just that simple.
No, that's true though. That's true, because that level of peace, peace is something I used to always feel like I had to search for or to chase or to find. I was like, what the fuck does even like peace even look like or feel like, right? And it was like when I actually just realized that I had the choice to basically choose to be peaceful, to cultivate that within myself, and then it's up to me whether I choose to stay there or not. Like, that's powerful, because like you just said, like when you're at that place of peace within you, it's then a choice of whether or not you choose up off your balance rocks and go uh interact or allow something to disturb you or knock you off your throne or whatever the case may be, right? Because you can be aware of what the fuck's going on around you but not be directly affected by you. It's kind of like it could be a storm going on around you and you still sitting there peaceful as fuck, like chilling, like, okay, cool, I see what's going on, but that don't mean that I have to be a part of what's going on or be triggered by what's currently taking place in my immediate surroundings. Or and that's kind of just like what goes on in the world, right? With the news and the dumb shit, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, I may see what's going on by social media posts because I don't watch the news, but it's all over the internet and this, that, and the third, and it's like people get so like just bent out of shape with whatever these news stories is like pushing out, and I'm just like, y'all will never maintain our peace like that. Y'all are so disturbed by every little thing that goes on in the world, and it's not even about like being selfish because people are like, oh well, you don't care. Nah, it's not that. I can care but still not have my life be turned upside down by it. I can still maintain my level of peace and be good. So I definitely think that's important, what you said about peace and breathing and meditation. Like you said, it sounds so simple, but it makes a shitload of a difference. I can definitely admit that it does. It really does. Now, I did have one last question before I let y'all go. So when it comes to like, because Wave, I believe you brought up earlier that women also don't know how to take no for an answer, right? And so, what I wanted to hear your perspective on was, when it comes to the two, do you feel like there is a difference in why a man won't take no for an answer and why a woman won't take no for an answer, or is the reasoning behind it one and the same? If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. For me, I understand it to be one and the same. Now that could be just my unique perspective, but it goes back to, the first thing I was mentioning, which was the knowledge of self. You know, because when somebody tells me no, I'm like, okay, great. Like, move on to the next one. Like, that I'd rather get it out the way early than late. Like, thank you for showing me that you're not for me, or that it's not for me. I really appreciate that. I don't, it's no farm, no how, no farm, no harm, no foul. Tongue twister. But yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't always like that. This is something I had to grow into. So I get it, but at a certain point we have to mature. We have to grow up and understand that, that alignment. That's a word that we've been using throughout this conversation. But that's really the biggest key to our relationships. If somebody's playing games, if somebody is telling you no, they're not in alignment. And if you really have worthiness, like Royal was speaking, about, if you really understand what you deserve, then you don't want somebody who is telling you no. You want to hear that yes. And so you have to also give that to the universe. You have to say yes to yourself, and know
Mm-hmm.
what it is you want. And in order for you to know what you want, you have to know who you are. So it starts with that meditating, it starts with that breathing. But a lot of people who aren't breathing and meditating, they don't really have that peace, they don't have that self-love. And so they go into the manipulation. They think it's a game that we need to play. This person that's telling me no, let me move them off of the no, let me get them to tell me yes. And it's toxic, because when we don't have that permission slip, life is like, it's really sad. It's nowhere near as good as it can be. When a woman tells you yes, or even a man, I think that's something maybe a lot of our sister goddesses haven't really thought about. Like, when it comes to consent, getting the yes from the man. But he'll perform better. And for a woman, she'll feel so much better if you remember to get that consent, to get that yes. It's just something that opens up a person to the universe. When we say yes to life, we're saying yes to ourselves. We're when we're talking to another person, it's like talking to the universe. So it's important to understand, to get that yes, to get that transparency, to have a person become fully open. And if they're running away, if they're playing games, it's a long shot. You'll be far-fetched. Even if you get that person to unite with you, to come together with you. Like SenSay mentioned, he was in the room with women before, and he could feel, yeah, she would do it, but she doesn't want to do it. Or even like how you mentioned waters, you won't experience the cosmic waters of the goddess, if she's not fully open. So it's really important to just take our time. I think a lot of people are rushing, they're going too fast because they're not breathing. That anxiety sometimes is like a drug. It'll make you start shaking your leg, you start that anxious energy when people don't know how to ground those high vibrations. Gratitude is a big key to life, to being able to deal with those higher frequencies. And so I would say yeah, it's all one and the same reason. When we're ungrateful, when we don't have that self appreciation. We don't care if a person is telling us yes or no. It's not even about what we can do for them. It's just about what they can do for us. They feed our egos. And so A lot of people are just looking for that, looking for that next thing to feed their ego, whatever they can devour. Men and women alike. Let me hurt his pockets. Let me play this game. Let me see what I can get, or vice versa from a man. Let me see if I can knock her down. Let me see. A lot of people aren't really coming into the relationship from a place of mutual appreciation, from a place of mutual alignment. And so, if we could start there, just pivoting out of those situations where, where people are not, agreeable. And I'm not saying we have to be 100% agreeable, but when we have that foundation of, okay, you know yourself, I know myself, and we're in this relationship to grow, even when we're not on the same page, which is not 100% of the time. We'll be able to have those difficult conversations, and we'll be able to get to the bottom of, okay, like, maybe you didn't want this food today, and I did, but we can come to a mutual, okay, today we're gonna eat what I want, and tomorrow we'll eat what you want. But it won't be like, okay, like, you don't want it, I'm gonna force you to eat it, or I don't want to do this and you're gonna force me to do it, because a lot of relationships are like that. People are just kind of being misused and abused. And I always say, use me, don't abuse me. Which is my way of saying, like, we're all gonna serve people in certain ways, but it should be mutual. Like, take care of the people that take care of you. And then that'll eliminate a lot of the chasing. That'll eliminate a lot of the people who don't want to be with you. The people who are just there to play games and take their plate to go, or take your bricks to go and build their house. Take care of the people that take care of you. That's my biggest message.
Yes, that was so
Not,
beautiful.
I'd like to build on that. I love that he's spoken to consent, but not being able to take no for an answer. This whole entire topic of rejection, right? Rejection. Woo! I'm still going through this aspect of rejection, because there's things that are going to, even the universe, we experience it with our parents, we experience it with our employers, we experience it with the banks. We ask for a loan, we experience it with everything in life. And the ability to accept a no and move forward accordingly, I hear many great things, much like, a no is, a redirection. Some people might say that, or some people might speak into other ways, in order to move accordingly. Because if I like to, again, I love to honor flow. So I ain't never, in this aspect of relationships, I ain't never like blew past you telling me no. Like, the consent is so very important, and I didn't know until recently how important consent is. We don't look at, hey, would you like this being done, and the person saying, yes, I would like that, just that. Because like Brother Wave was speaking into, it's the simple things. It's the simple things that are the things that we overlook. But the gravity of that, like, when I tell you, yes, it's okay, this thing, and WaveGod spoke into it, there's a certain hint of it just gives you the message of what you think, how you feel, and I'm gonna say it like this: your autonomy matters. I think that this is a big message that we need to speak into as leaders of communities, is that a person's autonomy, their ability to think and feel critically for themselves, is critical right now. It's important, because we are allowing the things that just go on, our hormones, our emotions, what society thinks, marketing tactics, all these different, our food, all of these different things to tell us how we are feeling right now, to tell us what we should do next. I should have sex with this person because they flew me out. They flew me out, and this and all these other dynamic. This man paid for this food, so that means it doesn't mean anything. Not if your body is telling you no, like you said, Cosmic. If the waters ain't flowing, we ain't going. I'm not having it. I'm not having it. And notice how the body would give consent. That goes back to when I was speaking into, like, and we were all speaking into knowing thyself. Like, is your body giving consent right now? I love when SenSay spoke into, looking into the goddess's eyes and noticing, like, yeah, you're not with the shits, and that's okay. I've been in a situation where, we paid for the hotel, everything, right? And she had spoken into, and she felt so bad. And I'm looking at her. This is what I love this is an aspect I love about myself. Like, I'm enjoying just being with you. So we actually started the act, right? We're doing the foreplay, we're kissing, we all up into it, right? I'm probably like 3 strokes in, right? And she's like, I can't do it. What she had spoken into was that she said the words, being that we're in a hotel, I feel like she felt like a hooker or something. Because we were in a hotel. And I'm like, damn, I like hotels. I actually love being on like the 20th floor of a hotel and just, doing us and being us. But with the aspect of your question, right? What played out for me was that I'm good. I'm good. And we ended up actually, I asked her right after that, I was like, you want to play Uno cards? We played Uno cards. I'm over here, I got a heart on and we playing Uno play on the bed, and it was a great night still. Utilize the redirections when no is being said. It's just a little like WaveGod spoke into. It's just a pivot. And we get to honor these pivots in life, and it makes you stronger because you get to roll with the punches. Life is always gonna, once you say you want something, a whole bunch of no's are gonna pop up because the universe is telling you, how bad do you want it? Is this truly who you are? There's gonna be scenarios and stuff put in place to ask you that question. Are you vibrating on this frequency that would have this thing pop up and attract to your frequency? People are going to tell you no, you can't have it, and then you continue to be you continue to persevere and magnetize, right? And then the thing just flows into on your lap, basically, right? So I would say honor the no's and definitely make consent a big thing. And notice consent without the person saying it, like King God SenSay was speaking into. Like, you don't need the person to yell off the rooftop, because sometimes they don't know themselves. The other person might not know themselves. So when we are dealing with knowing ourselves, we now have this responsibility to look at how that feels, how that is playing out within others, so that we can be that, maybe that first time. I know that's a powerful moment when King God SenSay spoke into the goddesses, like, it's okay to say no. That's a powerful realization within that goddess that she's gonna be able to take with her entire life. So it's honorable things like this. This is just us on the road, right? Loving up on others and enlightening, bringing that light to these what would be considered abysmal or small or bland things, but they're simple in that they're the basic thing. It's the water, right, that we can mix into any concoction, because most things has a base of like water or liquid, right? But that's the intricacies. Then when we mix that into it, it becomes something delicious when we're cooking, or something powerful when we mix it with this. But it all comes from that base, right? It all comes from the base, and that's gratitude, meditation, just sitting with yourself. Solitude is not being lonely. That's another thing we're being taught. Like, I'm lonely. You could be lonely in a room full of people. So breaking down all these narratives and getting to know myself has definitely been something that has helped me throughout my ordeals when dealing with taking a no or rejection. All right, it also puts you in a place of I'm okay. Just because this person said no to me, I'm not gonna die. A lot of people are out here internalizing and saying, oh, being that this person said no to me, I am not worthy. Oh, what was it about me? Did my breath stink? No, we don't even understand that she could be saying no, or he can be saying no because they feel that they aren't worthy of you. Or they could be feeling like they had, something's wrong within them. They're going through something internally. We don't even ask. We don't even get to into this space of being curious and being enthusiastic about, honestly, like, where am I? What's going on within me? So I'll finish with that. Thank you so much.
Forgive me, I'm trying to gain my composure. No, I'm not laughing at you. I was trying to pay attention to what I was saying, but I was also trying to get SenSay back in here. He was struggling so hard. Shout out to Mercury retrograde. I don't think we ever had this many issues trying to record an episode, but yes.
Yes, sir. Retrograding.
He got the ultimate boot. Like, he could not come back in, so I was trying to figure it out.
Not the ultimate boot.
Listen, I was over here cracking up, like, what is going on right now? And I was trying not to disturb you. Fuck. This is a distraction. What was I even about to say? Okay. So, Royal, you touched on rejection. I think that's important because that does play a huge role. Like, people don't know how to accept rejection. And you were saying, like, that person may be rejecting you because they may have something going on within, or whatever, right? Shit, sometimes the rejection is simply they just don't want you, or they don't. It's a no. Like, and I don't feel like all the time an explanation is needed. Like, if I say no, that's a no. I don't have to explain shit to you. Like, it just is what it is. And I feel like most of the time when a person gets told no, they want to know why, right? They gotta have, now my voice want to act crazy. Yo, I'm over this thing. And they want to know why, and they want a reasoning behind it, right? And I'm just like, well, no is, as people say, a complete sentence, and I don't have to explain anything to you. So, SenSay, before you got the ultimate boot, right? The last question that I had asked, how did I even word this, was basically, okay, when it comes to, like, men and women, do you feel there is a difference in a man not being able to accept a no, and a woman not being able to accept a no, or I don't know if I worded it like that, or dealing with the chasing. I don't know right now, my mind is all over the place. But when it comes to either man or a woman, do you feel like there is a difference behind why they can't accept no, or why one chases the other? Or do you feel like it's one and the same? SenSay, if you're talking, we cannot hear you.
Now?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Now, for me, I would say it's an individual thing. It kind of varies because it's kind of based off experiential. Now, when you get to the core of it, everybody's just expressing this aspect of nature from a lot of different ways, because nature is what rules these sexual urges. You know what I mean? So when you cloud them up with the things that we've been subjected to, watching your mom, or either traumatic experiences, even being raped, or molested, or even as a young man, even going through molestation, or even subjugated to being over sexualized, or all these different things. All those things come into play, because it goes back into people's ability to just be able to say what is real to and true to themselves. Some people can spend a lifetime doing that. Some people can spend a lifetime being a different person for everybody they meet in the bedroom. You know what I mean? And sexual oppression is a real thing in this society, especially dealing with the mental aspects on how we deal with our bodies. So, and especially for women. So for women, a lot of times, even for what I've noticed, because for a lot of women aren't, I'll say, everybody's not polygamous by nature. Some people are monogamous, right? So it's like most women are not going to be having sex with 2 or 3 men at the same time. Now, some women will. Now, when you're dealing with this of who's going to be able to say no, or why somebody can't say it and the other person like can, or where they're coming from, it deals with the way somebody's been taught, or the way they've been subjugated to how they view a man or a woman. And then that equates to how they view themselves, because taught that a man is taught he has to be a certain way to get a woman.
Wait, SenSay, you went back out.
Okay. A woman, like a man has been taught that he has to be a certain way in order to get a woman, and a woman has been taught she has to be a certain way in order to keep a man, right? So it's like now that dynamic comes into play, especially when we meet each other, because now it's like how you catch them is how you keep them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of women say they fall in love with a representative, and then she'll try to make you wait before she has sex because she's looking for something. So that ability to say no, a lot of times women will fall in love with the potential of maybe you can be in the man that I want you to be, but the whole time he's been selling you that he has the potential to be the man that you want him to be, only to get what he wants. You know what I'm saying? So it just becomes a whole different, because a man will go through a whole lot of things, boy, to get the pussy. I'm talking about, man, he will. I'm talking about a man. I'm talking about homeboy cars. That like he ain't living with his mama, all kind of shit, just to show this woman, goddamn me, I'm that nigga. You know, because now a man end up fucking a woman only to make her love him versus making love to her. So a lot of times a woman end up saying yes, hoping that he's going to fulfill something based off the fact that now I feel safe. You know, it goes back to what I was saying earlier about the sapiosexual energy, because now if this man done told me enough good things, okay, he can get the pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's all the checks and balance for the woman. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, once she comes into that mindset, and it's like he go to playing these games, to that dog chasing the cat and doing all the shit to get taken out, whining and dining, you know what I'm saying? Only because he already know this is what it's gonna take. Because a man will know if this woman gonna make him wait. He know who he got. That's why that's wife material. That's like a woman that make him wait. Like, oh, then a man will be like, oh, she thinks she worth making me wait. You get what I'm saying? Like, so a man is always observing and knowing what a woman doing, like what you were saying earlier, playing hard to get and shit. So that shit just becomes on how shit, desperate is the word that came up that came up in my mind as I was observing it, because motherfuckers be desperate. Some people don't love, they crave, you know, and that's how, you know, they end up with somebody else in the bedroom or doing some shit that they regret. Then you done had sex with somebody, then you laying there like, what the fuck did I do? Like I was saying earlier, like crying after sex, and now you done got through fucking the motherfucker. Now you ready for him to leave. You know what I'm saying? So all that shit can go to childhood traumas. Especially for women, like feeling like she has to do a certain thing but it just goes back. So a lot of deep shit can come with that. So for me, you know, even dealing with certain things, like, you know, all the individual work I've done with people doing all what I do. I just did a relationship counseling session yesterday, and it was a trip because they agreed to break up, and they have been going through some breakups for the last 6 years, and it came into a point to where we came to a realization that she was unwilling to accept that she had expectations that he wasn't meeting. And he was like, yes, I can't meet your expectations. Like, just tell me that shit. Like, I'd rather you just tell me versus just stringing me along. So it goes into a dynamic on how, because she felt like she made an investment in him early on, because that's the way these relationships play out. Then we got into her having issues with her father. Then her last marriage, her and the dude was sleeping in two separate bedrooms, and she was all about structure. So she was like, she want to build a legacy. So she looking at this man and having this subconscious thought of how he's supposed to show up as a man, and she's constantly saying yes, basically to the future version of him. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mm.
and that's what a lot of women will do. They end up saying yes to the future version of the man. And it's like, this man right here is like, all right, I'm accepting you in the way that you is, but this investment right here, and then it becomes a power struggle because now he's doing his best to live up to those standards, and now she's like, every little thing you do, she measuring your shit. You get what I'm saying? So that shit can play out so many different ways. Like, for real, for real. So I would say, yeah, it is a difference between, it is not one and the same, because a man can actually get into that place and the woman is saying no, and he can feel like, shit, like, bitch, you got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like that shit happens, like, shit, I done took you out, I done bought this and did that, I done paid your car note and all this old shit, and you talking about now, like, so it's like, yeah, you got to be mindful, on both ends, on what you're accepting, and what you're allowing. So it goes back to discernment again. It goes back to what's in your heart, what you're really mindful of, what's happening, what's going on, what you're subjecting yourself to. And a lot of times I know that's not easy to see off top, because only time can tell out on a lot of things. That's why I'm big on making sure that when you go through these experiences, you grow through them. And that's why this isolation, it goes back to meditation, like what we were just talking about, which I was saying. Because if you're not able to sit with those moments and see them as lessons, and being able to realize, like, your discernment will never grow. So you will always be in those lessons, in those moments, to where you like, fuck, what the fuck am I doing again? So it's just a self-realization on both parts. And it goes back to what Raw just made another key on, especially as a man, because a lot of times being able to recognize that maybe she is just pleasing you, because she wants to please you, and it's really something that she don't really want to do. And then the woman being able to say, okay, nah, this is something that I don't want to do. So it goes on both parts. It always does. And for me, like, honestly, it always, because the woman, it starts and it ends with her. But I know dudes will get real forceful, and that's the reason why we have rape victims, and we got dudes that can't control themselves. They did get hard, and they take you out or call you, or you tell them is they cool a couple of times. Now he think you home, he home you and shit. Like, I know it's some fucked up niggas out here. Trust me, boy. Niggas hiding in the bushes and shit. You ain't damn nigga. I just gave you my number, nigga. You outside my house. Like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, how did you even find me? You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
there's some stalker ass women out there too. So, man, this shit just it's a two-way street. You know what I'm saying? Beloved, it's a two-way street.
Oh man, that's a fact. I'm glad you was able to get back in and show your perspective on this.
Oh,
Um,
for sure, for sure.
yeah. So that was really the last question I have for y'all. If either one of you have anything else y'all want to share or say before we close out, feel free to do so in this moment. I have no idea where Royal went, but it's cool. This is going to be really interesting to go back and listen to, because I'm leaving it just as it is. I'm gonna add some music to the background, but I like the I like the bloopers because it kind of lightens the mood a bit. It just is what it is, and this is how it played out. It's just raw, it's authentic. Like, we showed up, and Mercury showed up, and that's just the way it is, right? So, um, are y'all complete? Y'all good?
I just want to leave you in gratitude. That's all. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to tap in and be a guest, on your podcast. So thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You know that. Happy birthday.
Yes, and I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all of y'all being here and showing up and exchanging energy with me and expressing yourselves and giving y'all wisdoms and y'all gems and y'all thoughts and all that goodness. And it's been a dope build, and I really appreciate it. Um, so if y'all are wanting to, you can basically tell my listeners how to find you on social media, or if you want to promote anything that you have going on right now, feel free to do so. I don't mind at all.
My Instagram is at WaveGod_Empire on all social media platforms at WaveGod_Empire. Tap in. I got all kind of stuff going on, retreats and classes. I'm here in Phoenix. I got every Saturday we got the it's lit. We got all kind of stuff. Turban rapping. We got the painting, poly painting sip. We got we got cosmic bowling, shooting. We got all kind of stuff going on. Just pull up on me. Tap in with the WaveGod. That's it.
Yes, SenSay.
Man, I gotta come on down to
Oh, there we go.
Phoenix, man. I gotta shoot back up there. Way God, I'm gonna hit you when I come, cause I want to come back to Sedona, but I'm gonna probably wait till that old desert sun ease up a little bit. But I damn near died down there in 2020 in July during the conjunction. Shit, I damn near, but it was a whole other experience. But man, if y'all, you can hit me up on my website, divineselections.net. Just like WaveGod, doing retreats and classes, and have an EDU, and teaching Reiki and herbs and numbers and astrology and all that good stuff. All knowledge of self. I work with children. I'm also ordained minister. I married couples and couples consultations. I do starseed consultations, which I work with children from ages 4 to 44. so, so it's like it doesn't make a difference. I'm just present, man. I'm just honored to be present, and gratitude for having me on the platform once again, beloved. And thank you for even sparking I would say the beginning of my journey on the podcast, because Cosmic created my profile here on the Anchor app. I have one episode downloaded, but I also have another episode planned, and I'm probably doing it on my birthday, which my birthday is going to be June 6th, and it'll be 666 this year for my birthday. So I'll probably share a little something with the people, probably just, probably pour a little something in to the collective on that day. So interested in anything, just hit me up on the website. My beloved does waist beads, and she wraps copper jewelry and all that kind of stuff. And she also has a mentoring program, does business consultation. She builds websites. She can help you with your book, a lot of different things. So yeah, if you're interested, tap on in.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned your podcast, but you didn't say the name of it.
It's healing time with SenSay. You better goddamn know it.
Yes. Okay. I think this app is tired of us because now Royal can't get back in. I appreciate y'all sticking around through all the technical difficulties.
We're gonna push through.
I wanted to get him back in to, say his last few words or whatever, but I don't know how long that's gonna take, because it took you like 15 minutes. But
think through the through the messenger.
Guns and tape. Okay. Let's see. Wait, I don't have him on Facebook though.
The ground.
Alright, let me try. Oh wait.
Send him that same link you sent me and send it on Instagram.
Y'all just bear with me for 1 second. I do want to give him a chance to close out if he wants to. I don't kind of just want to end it, but we're going to see. I'm going to give him a couple minutes. But as always, to my listeners, I appreciate y'all. I'm grateful for y'all, all of y'all that listen to me. and share, y'all feedback and just come exchange energy with me, right? Shout out to the people that has actually, supported my podcast and donated some money here and there. I appreciate y'all too. Shout out to the listeners that's from different countries because, I've been listened to in Russia, in Spain, I think Australia. It was one more that I can't remember, but shout out to y'all too. And just everybody that listened to me in all the different states. Like, I appreciate y'all for real. And as always, if you want to, be a guest speaker or you have a question or a comment, you can reach out to me at tastemynakedtruths@gmail.com. Or if you're listening on Spotify in the Anchor app, I believe you can leave a voice note, and I could actually put your note in my episode and respond to it. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's just, pure gratitude. This podcast journey has been beautiful, and I look forward to what the rest brings from it. And so I don't think that Royal can get back in, and I don't just want it to be this piece. I heard somebody saying something. I'm not sure what that was because it sounded like it glitched. Did y'all say something?
I was just trying to say, shoot. Yeah, I was looking to see where Roy was at, but Mercury retrograde. I'm gonna commend you for pushing through an episode during Mercury retrograde because I'm telling you, you pushed through. We pushed through this one, so yeah,
Yes,
this is
it
epic,
showed
right
his
here.
ass. Oh my god. Oh, SenSay, that's what I wanted to tell you. So what I realized earlier is that we ended up having you back on here on another 9-day and another full moon. I thought that was dope as fuck because I don't be planning this intentionally. It just be like I was trying to get everybody together, and this was just the day that it ended up on, right? And so I was like, yo, we met up the first time when it was a 9-day and under a full moon. So that was cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that was good.
Nothing to this. Cycles.
Yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and close this down because I don't want to just sit here, right? So I appreciate you both. I appreciate you, Royal.
Royal? No, I'm close out for Roy, man. I'm gonna close out.
Okay.
And thank you for the King Gods. Speak like a Raw. Thank you for my brother, the King Gods. I heard him over there say when I came on, he said he was on hard, so I don't know what he got going on with that. But I'm gonna just say, catch me on Instagram doing my dances, liberating my body, moving my solar plexus. You know what I'm saying? And I love my people. I love y'all all, and I love myself.
Right. You better goddamn know it.
Yes.
And gratitude is a rock. WaveGod, love you, brother. Gratitude is a rock, brother.
Love. Indeed. Well, love, y'all.
All right. Peace, y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Peace and love.
Peace.
Peace and love. My beautiful naked truthers. So I hope that this episode brought you some wisdom, some jewels, as many different gems were dropped tonight. And I hope it also brought you some laughter, because laughter is needed. Laughter is healing. It is medicine to the soul. And so I hope that you laughed with us. And I also hope that this episode served as a reminder that not everything has to be so motherfucking perfect, okay? Sometimes it won't be. Other shit happens, and things don't go according to plan. But it's okay, you know. They all experience some form of technological difficulties, right? And they all just stuck through it with me. They kept coming back. They was getting kicked out. Oh man, it was interesting. I've never had this many glitches and recording an episode. And shout out to Merc Retro. Much love, Mercury. Much love. But the interference, it was beautiful. Because like I said, it created laughter. And like I said, it served as just a reminder to just fucking breathe through it all and keep pushing, Sometimes you might get served a curveball. Sometimes you might get served some lemons. Make it lemonade, add a little bit of sugar, make it sweet. Life is sweet. Even the bitter times are sweet. Right? So, yeah. And just understand that the authenticity of it all, right? It was raw, it was live, it was just up close and personal, And I really wanted to leave these bloopers in, right? Instead of going through and try to edit out everything and make it seem so perfect, because it comes off as kind of fake to me. It's like almost like having a picture that you Photoshop just to look good, or almost like how you see couples on the gram, right? And it looks like all is well, but outside of social media, their relationship is fucking toxic as hell, right? So I want to give it that kind of vibe. So I make my podcast as naked as it can possibly get. And tonight it got naked as fuck on many levels, and I truly enjoyed this experience, all this beautiful divine masculine energy that came through for me tonight. I appreciated it. I really, really do. I am going to be having some goddess energy come through and talk with me as well. As soon as the topic hits me, I will be receiving that episode. I kind of just go with the flow, and whatever pops up and whoever comes to mind for me to collab with and bring on as a speaker. So when all that info comes to me, I will definitely be adding some beautiful divine feminine goddess energy to come and talk with me, and I look forward to that too. So as always, I love y'all. Thank you for being here. Spread the word. Also, remember to follow the podcast, no matter what platform you are listening on. Give me a follow, and click the little bell so it'll remind y'all every time I upload a new episode, so you can stay up to date with Taste My Naked Truths. Okay? And if you're really feeling it, remember to rate the show, right? No matter how many stars you give me, right? Just remember to rate the show. That way, it'll begin to generate those reviews and those ratings and the follows, and the platforms will begin suggesting me to other listeners and making me as a featured podcast. Okay, so I appreciate y'all again. I know I keep saying that, but I really do. I appreciate y'all. So that is all for this episode. I have some other topics I do want to touch on, so you may be seeing some other episodes being uploaded this week, so be on the lookout for those, okay? One last thing that I want to touch on before I close out completely is my self-love group Zoom session. So I have a lot of people, that come to me asking me about self-love. And while I do share a lot about it in my journey, and I even offer, individual one-on-one sessions, I decided to bring back my Zoom session. It was such a success last year. I only did it once. But with everybody that's been coming to me lately and reaching out to me, I was like, fuck it, I'm bringing it back. And so we're going to get together every Friday evening on Zoom at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. So that is 8:45 Central and 6:45 p.m. Pacific time. Okay. All are welcome. It's not just for women. Men are welcome too. Everybody's welcome to come and vibe, and it's gonna be a lot of healing energy. We're gonna talk, but it's also gonna be diving deep into triggers and traumas. It's gonna be doing, the shadow work, as people say, and we're gonna be releasing trapped emotions. I'm gonna be diving into guided meditations, any messages from spirit, so that includes card readings or intuitive readings. It includes sound bowl healing, like I said, the guided meditations. This includes chakra healing and balancing, Reiki healing, just whatever needs to take place in that particular session, and every session will be different depending on who shows up. We're going to be doing self-love rituals. I will hold a group one, but if y'all want to do something individual with me, that's cool. You can do it together with me on your own. Wow. We do it that night, right? And we're just gonna, like I said, dive in, love on ourselves, love on each other. Also want to tap into getting messages from the inner child and doing mirror work exercises, affirmations, all that goodness, all that juiciness. And it's just coming together to work on ourselves, okay, and cultivate that foundation of self-love, which is really important, okay? Now, I do have it set up to where the love exchange to get in every Friday is $33, right? However, if $33 is a little too much for you right now, that's okay. Send what you can at that moment. And if you really just don't have anything to send, that's also okay. Just reach out to me, letting me know that you want to join this week and you currently don't have the monetary funds. And I will still allow you to come in because, I want it to be about the healing and not the money. However, just understand the love exchange that's there, And also just be honest with me. Just keep it real. You know what I mean? Because my spidey sense is going to tell me if somebody is playing around, and lying about them having the money or not. But I just want it to be good vibes and healing and just be beneficial to everybody, right? So don't let money hold you back from coming to a Zoom session, okay? So like I said, that's going to be every Friday night. So if you are interested, if you want to know more information, reach out to me on any of my social media platforms. You can reach out to me via the podcast, or you can hit me up at tastemynakedtruths@gmail.com. My IG, however you choose to reach out to me. Let me know that you want to join. And I will proceed to send you more information and my payment options as well. So I look forward to getting together with y'all on Friday nights. And one last thing that I want to just dive into or talk about is I'm thinking about doing some readings on here. You know, if the client doesn't mind having their reading shared with the world. You would stay anonymous, of course. But I'm really thinking about doing that, you know? And it could be a live thing, so the client can come and sit here and, you know, converse back and forth with me. And that could be my show for 1 week, like, you know? Just give y'all a little taste of how my reading sessions go, or I may just do a live guided meditation. I don't know, I'm kind of thinking about implementing some of that into my podcast, because a reading for one can actually be a reading for all. It just depends. So I'm gonna be definitely looking deeper into that and seeing who would be a willing participant. So yeah, and as always, my journals and my workbooks are available for purchase via Amazon. My self-love workbook is up and ready to be purchased by you beautiful souls. That is like my favorite one. I'm so excited about it. Like, oh, it's amazing. And you have the 2 gratitude workbooks, which are exactly the same on the inside. The only difference is the covers. So Forever Grateful just takes out the profanity that is on the cover of Grateful as Fuck, right? And then, of course, Forever Grateful has the sunflower vibe going on. And then I have the journal for men, which is called Know Thyself, right? Free the mind, heal the soul. And then I have my other 2 journals, which are strictly for your journaling needs. So they're pretty much just journaling pages. They come with affirmations and little inspirational quotes. And I have some other stuff up my sleeve, so just stay in tune with me. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finally close this out. Much love, everybody. I fucking love y'all. It's been beautiful. So, as always, remember, life is as beautiful as you allow it to be. Self-awareness and perspective is key. So choose wisely, beautiful souls. Much love, peace,